This tutorial will help you to complete the questions on homework number 4. So let's get started. The first topic is volume of a cylinder. So let's take a look at this question here. The cylinder has a base radius of 10 inches. Let me copy and paste this here. And a height of 2 inches. What is the volume in cubic inches to the nearest tenth? So you need to know the volume formula for a cylinder. And then you need to know the radius value, which for us is 10, and the height value, which is 2. And when you put it in the appropriate formula, you'll get your right answer. So that's all you need to type in your calculator. Pi times 10 squared times 2. So let's give that a try. Let's use the Desmos calculator. So pi times 10 squared times 2. Now notice I get this really long answer, okay? The question says to round to nearest tenths place, so that's where we're going to stop. Everything before this number is going to be part of your answer. Everything after this number has to be left off. But what we need you to do is understand if the 3 remains a 3 or if the number next to it is large enough to round it up. The number has to be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. If it's 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, the number can round up. We have a 1, so it doesn't. 628.3 will be our answer. So we're going to type that in here into the delta math. 628.3 inches cubed is already written, so I submit. And let's check a new one. This one says, what is the volume of a cylinder with a height of 11 and a diameter of 18 centimeters? So let's take a look here. If you have a height of 11 and a diameter of 18, you do not have all of the letters you need, right? You need a height, which we got, but you also need a radius, which we don't have. So remember, a diameter is just twice as long as the radius. So if we divide that in half, we get our number. So the volume is pi times 9 squared times 11. So let's put that in our calculator. Pi times 9 squared times 11. Again, rounded to the nearest tenth, but this time the number next to us is 5. And that means it's big enough to make us round up to 2. 2799.2. 2799.2. All right, let's see if we've got any other types of questions. It says a height and a radius. It says a radius and a height. Height and a radius. Okay. This looks like you'll constantly be given a height, a diameter, or a height and a radius. So you should have no troubles completing this lesson. All right, let's take a look at the second lesson, volume of a cone. So find the volume of a right circular cone that has a height of 11.2, and a base with a circumference of 12.6. All right, this is a new problem for you. We never talked about circumference before, so it's a good thing you're watching this video. So a cone is similar to a cylinder. It does have the pi r squared h, but it also has this fraction in front. So for us, we can fill in the pi and the 1/3 and the height, 11.2. But what we can't fill in is the r, because all we were given was their circumference. Now here's something you need to know about the circumference. That's the distance around the outside of a circle, or the perimeter, right? So the circumference is equal to 2 times pi times the radius. So if we know the circumference, then we can put a 12.6 in this position. But we don't know the radius. So we will leave all these other numbers the same. We want to know the radius. So in order to get the letter r by itself, we simply divide both sides by 2 pi. That eliminates them from the right side. And all we need to do now is go figure out what this crazy decimal number is going to be. And it's going to be long, and you have to use the whole number. So 12.6 divided by 2 pi. 12.6 divided by 2 pi. 12, oops, I need a fraction. 12.6, and in the denominator, I'm going to write 2 pi. And this, although I know you want to use the number 2, I know you want to stop there and use the number 2, I need you to use at least 5 or 6 numbers after the decimal. And I need you to do that because I want you to use a very accurate number. I don't want you to round in the middle of your problem and then round at the end of your problem. So 2.00535. Let's try that. 2.00535. That's what we're going to write for our formula. 2.00535 squared times 11.2. So we got to type that whole thing into our calculator. So let's go get started on that. 1/3 times pi times 2.00535. I'm pretty sure that was it. Yep, 535 squared times 11.2. Yep, 11.2. All right, we got 47.165, so that's going to round up to 47.2. Let's see if we got this right. Oh, I hope so. Yes. All right, let's look at their work. See, they got the radius just like us. They actually even used more digits than us. They went a little bit further. They used 7 digits after the decimal. And the reason why they did that is because it is more precise. You want to be as precise as possible, and you want the only time that you're rounding to be at the end. All right. Find the volume of a right circular cone that has a height of 10.4 and a radius of 4.9. Well, that's going to be a simple one for you because you don't need to alter this in any way. It's just pi times radius squared times height. That's it. Those numbers fit right into that formula. You type them into your calculator and you round to nearest tenth. 4.9 and 10.4. Let's take a look. 1/3 times pi times 4.9 squared times height 10.4. Make sure you're putting your numbers in the right places. Height and height, radius with radius. So 261.5. That's going to round up. See? The 4 is where we stop, but the number next to it is an 8. So 261.5. Excellent. All right, let's try the third lesson, the volume of a sphere. So a sphere has its own formula. So this one has a radius of 45.3 feet. So a sphere uses this formula. 4/3 times pi times r cubed. So we're going to keep the 4/3, we're going to keep the pi, and the radius this time is going to be cubed, which for us is 45.3. So we're going to write 45.3 in our calculator. All right, 45.3. Here we go. Clear it out. 4/3, oops, times pi times 45.3. Now this time we're cubing it, so we have to use a different button. Let's use the exponent button for the cube. Let me double check. 45.3, 45.3. Ooh, that number is long, and it's going to round up to a 6. 389, 388, 388.6. Yes. All right, this one says, what's the volume of a sphere with a diameter of 6.3? So if you have a diameter, then you do not have the variable that you need, right? You need a radius. So diameter, if you divide it in half, will be your radius. So the diameter is 6.3, so we're going to take 6.3 and divide it in half, and that's what we will put in this position. Everything else is already ready to go. 6.3 divided by 2. Let's do that on our calculator. 6.3 divided by 2. Oops, sorry. 6.3 divided by 2. All right, that's our radius. 3.15. Okay, so now we need 4/3 times pi times 3.15 raised up to the third power. Okay, 130.9. 130.9. Submit. Fantastic. All right, the last section of your homework is mixed review. So you have to pick the formula and use it appropriately. So cylinder is pi r squared h, gives you a height and a diameter. Remember, diameter needs to be divided in half. So 12.4 divided in half is 6.2. So that will be the number you use for r, 6.2. So you can do pi times 6.2 squared times the height, which is 8.2. That's what you're going to type in your calculator for this question. All right, the next one was a cylinder, so you use the same formula, but this one is a pyramid with a square base, and that's different. Okay, we're only studying circular bases, so if you want, you could get this one wrong and try and get another one right, but a square base just means that instead of using pi r squared, you're going to use the formula. This is a formula for a circle. That's the area of a circle. So you're going to use the area for a square, which is the side squared. So we don't need a pi, but we do still need a 1/3 because a pyramid, right, gets smaller at the top like that. A pyramid is always 1/3, or a cone is always 1/3. What comes after it, all right, what comes after it is the shape of the base. And for us, the shape of the base usually is a circle. That's why we get pi r squared times h. But for this problem, it's a square, so it's side squared times h. But the 1/3 always stays in the front. So the side length is 18, the height is 11.5. So you're going to do 1/3 times 18 squared times 11.5. 1/3 18 squared times 11.5. Let's give that a try. 1/3 times 18 squared times the height of 11.5. Look, no pi symbol in this because it's not circular. Oh, we get a nice number, 1242. Let's see, do we do that right? 1242 to nearest tenth of a cubic meter. Yes. Fantastic. So that's how you complete the assignments for homework number 4.